Good morning, everyone. I see a few hands waving. Good morning. Okay, we're going to get started. Hello, and welcome back to our Staffing Fundamentals series. Today, we'll be going over Lesson 9, USA Staffing Onboarding. As usual, we have a few housekeeping items to cover before we get started. This training is foundational and specifically targeted for HR staff with less than 1 year working in staffing, or if your supervisor deems it necessary. HR staff that is outside of our targeted audience may find this training to be very basic. In that case, please consider it as a refresher. This class is specifically for HR staff in Series 201 and 203. If we have any bargaining unit employees that are logged into this call, we kindly ask that you take this time to log off. This training is being recorded, and your attendance is your consent. Our team introductions include our HRD Chief, Marcus James, our team members, Omira Bedworth, who is also facilitating or co-facilitating in today's presentation, Lisette Lima, myself, Valerie McKinney, Samantha Montalvo, also facilitating with us in today's presentation, Angel Torres Morales, and Luis Torres. The best way to reach our entire HRD team is to reach us through our group email, which is vision8hrd@va.gov. Our learning objectives for this training include to examine USA Staffing SharePoint, to identify USA Staffing workflows and required items. USA Staffing is a user-friendly web-enabled software that completely automates recruitment, assessment, referral, and notification processes while meeting requirements of the federal government, laws, and regulations. USA Staffing leads the way in transforming the automation of VA's hiring process. It is used to recruit, evaluate, assess, certify, select, and onboard new hires more efficiently so that hiring managers are able to fill mission critical positions. Okay, now that we've gone over the purpose and function of USA Staffing, let's review its SharePoint. We also want to mention that we understand that a majority of our staffing employees are familiar with USA Staffing due to your detail in service training and the work that you do on a daily basis. So instead of covering the entire site, I want to briefly highlight specific categories, starting with the home page that's on the screen. So on the left, under the red arrow, we have the support category. And underneath, you have a listing of all the subcategories. And we're going to come back to that. On the right-hand side, it displays several navigation buttons, which include USA Staffing logins, an opportunity to submit a ticket, and also how to clear a cache. Okay, this page displays the USA Staffing training. Specifically, it provides training materials, guides, training videos, and other resources. Here's the Onboarding Central Hub. It's designed for individuals who work with onboarding applicants using USA Staffing. It also contains the onboarding user guide. This page displays our frequently asked question, which addresses all recurring questions as identified by the help desk tickets, outreach sessions, and questions sent to the USA Staffing shared mailbox. I also want to note that it's recommended that USA Staffing users review the FAQ prior to submitting a help desk ticket because your particular issue may have already been solved. So there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. And plus, it's going to save you a lot of time if you go there first and see if someone's already found a solution to your problem or particular issue. Finally, let's view the lower half of the USA Staffing SharePoint homepage. Underneath the blue arrow, we have references, and underneath the red arrow, we have other resources, as well as providing USA staffing features, quarterly meetings, requests for access, FAQs, and USA staffing communications. We are providing the SharePoint link for anyone who is interested in reviewing more of USA staffing information and resources. Okay, this concludes my portion of the presentation, and at this time, I'm going to turn over to Samantha, who's going to go over identifying our USA staffing workflow processes.
Okay, thank you, Valerie. So now we will briefly go over the new hire workflow process. So of course, we start with creating the new hire record. The workflow is assigned based on the new hire and position. The tasks are then reassigned as applicable to onboarding staff and partners. The new hire receives the offer and is provided instructions for accepting the offer, and then the specialist sends the tentative offer notification. And once the new hire is cleared to start, the official offer notification is sent. Let's talk about the new hire tags. The new hire tags will provide the indication of how the recruitment is. So we just want to remember that externals are for new to federal service, transfer from another federal agency, and internal tags are for transfer from another VHA, VBA, VACO, same station. And of course, as you all know, this is a screenshot from USA Staffing, and this is where you would see the new hire tags. What are task workflows? So VA Onboarding Manager HR Guide defines task workflows as pre-bundled tasks comprising of HR and or new hire tasks. So bundling frequently assigned tasks allows HR onboarding users to quickly assign multiple tasks at once. And these workflows are intended to be a starting point for HR onboarding users. You must still review the assigned tasks from task workflows and edit as appropriate. The workflow breakdown. So we have the primary workflow, secondary and other common workflows, and miscellaneous workflows. So for the primary workflows, SSU assigns these. And then we have the secondary and other common workflows assigned by onboarding as applicable. And the miscellaneous workflows, we just want to remember there's other workflows that would address expedited hiring, benefits, payroll, and PERSEC. Required onboarding tasks. This workflow must be used and includes tasks that are required for all new hire records. So we do not delete these required tasks. Some of these in no particular order that are important, initiate background investigation, security clearance, verify new hire arrives for the first day of duty, sex offender, website query date, like you cannot delete those. This is just an overview, of course, a reminder and refresher of the things to look for, not to forget, but always refer to your sections just to make sure you're following whatever checklist you may have or any added tasks that they are requiring you to do. As you know, PERSEC is done by security section. So a basic review is done by staffing, but security staff will do a final review of the 306 to ensure there's no issues on the form prior to submission to OPM. So PERSEC tasks is completed when the personnel security specialist has signed off on it. I'll now pass it over to Amara, where she will cover some additional required items.
Thank you, Sam. So this section that I'm going to talk about is going to be more about those things that are required. And we're going to go over these required items, and we're going to run through them quickly because I know that these are all very familiar to you, but we just want to highlight a few. Now, the first one that we're going to talk about is the sex offender registry. Must be completed so the new hire is clear. The National Sex Offender Public website is the only U.S. government-wide website that links public, state, territorial, tribal sex offender registries in one national search site. The verification is required for all accessions to the VA, including external selections, competitive transfers, or assignments between VHA and clinics. Also for full-time, part-time, intermittent, permanent, temporary, fee basis, term, fees. It does not apply to internal reassignments or internal promotions as long as the selectee stays within the same facility. The justification for the facility to facility transfer is to ensure that if there's a daycare on site at the gaining facility, the individual being transferred is not on the sex offender registry. And you can reference the job aid for this sex offender that is posted on the W1C site. We are going to share the link to this. But there's two things that I think is important to highlight that it's on this job aid. And that is that there's no requirement to print a copy or save a screenshot of the sex offender registry or query. And also that the verification is not retained in the EOPF. Okay, that's according to the job aid. The next item we want to highlight is the rules of behavior. We know that once the new hire is onboarding, it has to be returned prior to the official offer or firm offer is sent. As you know, the rules of behavior, the ROB is needed for service to initiate network access. So this is one of those very important and critical items. The next item we want to talk about is the LEIE, which is the list of excluded individuals and entities is another required item. As you know, it recently has been updated. On the call that provided this update, WMC recommended that we utilize the HCM portal to get to the updated LEIE site, and we'll provide that link as well. You might want to save that in your favorites. And remember that the LEIE must be checked for all accessions to the VHA, included but not limited to full-time, part-time, intermittent, permanent, temporary, term, fee basis, appointments, transfers, reassignments, or promotions between VHA facilities. The LEIE is required to be checked on individuals appointed on WOC or without compensation basis or other employment situations, even if there will be no payment to the individual from VHA funds. And you can find this on the job aid that has been updated recently with the new update in the new site. We will provide that at the end. It's the job aid is 05 OB 013 LEIE OIG task job aid. Okay. Now, it's also important to mention that after the document is uploaded into USA Staffing, this is marked as complete. And the last point we want to make is that the LEIE is the LEIE uploaded into the EOPF? The answer is no, according to the job aid. We wanted to cover this because it's according to what the guidance that we're getting from the, but please follow whatever guidance your section is providing you with. One other item that we want to go over is the selective service. I know that everyone is familiar with this check. We know that this is if it's applicable, but one thing that I just wanted to highlight was there's certain questions, whether we do it, where we don't do it. I would refer you to the site and then just look at the menus that are under the registration that will probably answer those questions. Who needs it, who's registered, who's not registered, what happens if they didn't register, and the guidance on it. The next item that we want to review is that once the applicant accepts the tentative offer, we know that the OF 306 will be part of the questionnaire tasks, right? Along with the other appropriate workflows. So we want to highlight that recently we received an OCHICO bulletin, August 1st. It's on the screen, addressing the Fair Chance to Compete for Jobs Act of 2019. And the guidance was made immediately to be put into effect. And basically what the information is saying, in order to be compliant with the act, VA hiring stakeholders need to refrain from requesting information about the applicant's criminal history at the point of initial application. So basically we cannot request the 306 or the OF 306 prior to the person accepting a position. Okay, that's pretty much what the bulletin was highlighting. So we just thought we'd bring it up to your attention. Here's some other required documents that you may want to ensure that are part of that new hire record during the onboarding. These are some that's probably not, not all, but these are some that are important that need final signatures that, just because you have the form in the record, if it's not signed completely, it's not approved. And just as from years of experience, anything that has to do with money, any market pay, HBRs, AMRs, those require director's signature or a final signature, another approving signature. So those must have you must have that final on the record. Okay. So here are some of the forms that we thought of mentioning, the qualification determinations, any retention, recruitment incentives, veterans forms, 214, selected service, letters, SF-75 for any transfers, Schedule A's, SF-50s, and etc. Okay, just make sure that you follow whatever guidance your section is requiring. We know that your sections probably have some kind of checklist or some kind of items that they want you to follow. So ensure that you meet that, but we just thought we highlight some. The other reminder that we would like to make is the importance of the USA staffing notifications. I think they're still called touch points. It's basically we just want to keep the applicant informed, and this is an important item during the onboarding process. As you all know, all clearances need to be received in order to have that effective date, and this is the screen as you're very familiar with. But one last point that we would like to make is that the importance of uploading all of these documents, and not only uploading them, but making sure that when you upload the required documents that you select the appropriate name for the form. That's going to determine whether the form it's the correct actual label for the form, and whether it's going to transmit into the EOPF if it's the case, or if it's not going to transmit. So just highlighting the importance of this, and this is where you actually do it. And on this menu, as you know, it identifies whether the form is ineligible for transmission or if it's ready to transmit. And we always want to have complete records. So close things out. And that was the last of the items that we wanted to review. There's a lot more that goes on into onboarding, but these were some things that either had updates recently or that we noticed that it was important to highlight. So we just wanted to highlight those little items for you. Again, always follow the guidance from your leads and from your supervisors. Make sure that you're in line with whatever guidance it has been determined for the section, and that you follow that. So we're going to go over some of the things that we reviewed today. And that is, we highlighted onboarding workflows, the importance of the new hire tags. We reviewed the importance updates of required items, like selective service, the LEIE, the 306, and we did review the USA Staffing SharePoint. And the last thing, we highlighted the importance on sending the USA Staffing notifications. And there you have all the references that we went over today. And we want to thank you. I always like to encourage people. I just want to leave you with this quote. The strength of the team is each individual member. The strength of each member is the team. So utilize your teams, lean on each other, help each other out, and keep doing what you're doing. I know it's hard work. I hear it's a bit of a slow time right now, but trust me, it's not going to stay like that forever. Recruitment, I know, can be very busy and very hectic. So I hope that you guys have been enjoying your summer, and we're getting ready to start the next quarter. We thank you. I hope that these classes have been helpful to you, have added some value to what you do. And if you ever have any questions, please feel free to contact us at our main email address for HRD, BizN8, and we'll be gladly to answer your questions. Thank you so much for being here. So have a great day, have a great weekend, and thank you very much for joining us.